Hello everybody, welcome to IT Skills channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at something very important, and that is IT career in 2024. 2024 or 2023, late 2023, has not been an easy to be an IT personnel according to what the market have you believes. And according to what the economy is predicting, it seems like being an IT person is not easy. And also with AI looming in, it seems like we're having to have a lot more problems for people to stress about if you're an IT person. I'm making this video because I teach a lot of aspiring students that wanted to go into IT. I have a nonprofit, and this is basically something I teach on my free time. And they ask me, it's like, hey Aiden, you're teaching us all this cool stuff, but you see everybody's talking about IT getting laid off. The dream of working for Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, it might not be there, when we learn all these things. So that's what they asked me. And I asked them literally, like, are you doing this so one day you can make big money, or are you doing this because you want to learn something? And they basically told me, hey, you know what, I'm a kid right now, but I do want to make money while doing what I do. IT is great and all, but I gotta see if this is gonna make me a lot of money. I'm like, well, that's interesting. So I guess I had some thinking to do, and I had to come up with a video for them, and this is video for the channel, obviously, what I think is going to happen in the future of IT, because the news articles, seeing everything else does not give you any type of confidence that it's going to get better. And so, when you look at the articles, like if you look at it online over here, there's actually so many dedicated articles. They actually made a tech layoff tracker basically for people to follow which company is going to lay off how many number of employees. It's almost like a game right now. And so a lot of people are, first of all, blaming this to they blame this mostly on tech companies. Tech companies are being too greedy. They're saying this is not a problem with a tech company not making revenue. And if you look at stock market, some of them are making groundbreaking revenue, especially Microsoft, Facebook, and all of them. But they're doing the layoff still because they want to, reduce their staff, and they want to please their stakeholders. So they're doing this to basically make their investors happy. And they also, the other claim is gonna be, is that people, let me actually start following this because there's a lot we're gonna need to go over. So just to make this thing easier, so a lot of people believe the layoff is happening to please, they want to please their shareholders. So this is for the layoff is happening mostly to please the shareholders, because they know shareholders do not like losing money, and so, or investors, so they want to say, you know what, here's how much we save you, expense of people losing their job. The other thing people are talking about is company. This is an industry experts. They talk about, companies like Microsoft hired too many. So they just hired too many talents. They had so much cash flow, they had so much revenue coming in, so they decided to overhire. They hired a lot of people during the COVID, because back then revenue was coming in from left and right. They didn't realize that this is eventually going to end, so I guess they just decided to keep hiring without accounting for what happens if there's a downturn in revenue, and so, or there's an economy issue. So they basically hired too many. The other factor people are saying is that, this is the one that I don't believe a lot yet, AI is taking over. AI is taking over jobs. That's what people are saying. So again, this is something that I'm not believing this yet, because AI is not even sentient enough. It's not even ready to take over people's daily tasks. It needs prompt right now. It's a large language model that needs to get trained to learn what people do, Now it's true, some jobs, like maybe if you're working on an office, administration, sending emails, AI may take over that. If you're doing maybe, let's just say you're doing low level tasks, it may take over that. But I still don't think this is accurate. And if you think this is accurate, please comment below. I think this is just kind of too outreaching right now. AI is there, it's intelligent. You see it with Microsoft Copilot, ChatGPT, and Google Burr, and so many other AIs out there. But I don't know if it's ready to take over people's job. I think there might be a time, maybe 2 to 3 years or 1 to 2 years from now, where AI will take over seriously any job out there, but I don't think it's there yet. But right now, basically those are the three main things people think is happening. The fourth one I hear is not popular like AI. This is by far the most popular theory people have. It's basically companies can, companies getting done with less. So they're basically hired a lot, and now they are getting all their job done with less employees. So then now they just feel like, why have this office space? Why have all this real estate for people when we don't need them all to be in here working? So companies figured out a way to get done with less with the number of employees they have. So they basically now may have maybe a couple of engineers that can actually go ahead take care of a system that would be managed by maybe 10 to 20 engineers. And those engineers may in a way contribute into their colleague losing their job, because they want to impress so much. They're like, you know what, as long as my job is saved, I'm gonna work my butt off to make sure that I make this company profitable. And so nowadays we're entering the era of a selfishness, whereas companies are just looking at their revenue, their pocket. They don't care about if somebody's gonna lose their house, mortgage, their kid's gonna go, sleep on the streets. They just really care about, can I meet the numbers for the next investor call? Can I, please my investor? Am I actually in an uptrend in terms of revenue wise? If that's not the case, they're gonna cut people. We heard in the late 2023s, when Facebook announced that big layoff, that the 11,000 layoff they had, we thought that was just like one-time thing. But as you know right now, it's become regular. Elon Musk did it with Twitter, where he said they were spending $5 million a day on just losing $5 million a day. So he laid off a lot of people that knew how to manage Twitter and replaced them with a lot of basically, a couple engineers, and they're managing fine. So I think he almost set a bad example for people how to run business in an efficient way, or an efficient, non-efficient way. Whatever you want to call it, this is gonna have a big impact, because of that, people getting away from the Fortune 500 jobs, now they're basically coming down to, so the people that were working with the Fortune 500, so Fortune 500 employees, former employees should I say, are now applying for local jobs. So they're applying for low paying jobs, local jobs, mostly IT jobs, and they're willing to accept it because they don't have the means to just negotiate the offer anymore. They're willing to take less. The market's saturated. It used to be during COVID, it used to be employers market. Employers were getting refused left and right with a job offer. People were quitting, quiet, like they were basically quitting, putting in social media. Now it's the opposite. People cannot quit anymore. Instead, they're competing for one single job, and some people, I've seen the stat data, I must see if I can bring it up, but they're saying for every job that's posted right now, there's like 5 people applying to that job now in LinkedIn and other places. So before, it was not the case. Before, it was like companies would put a job up and they will not get any applicants for a long time. So they just basically, if they get an applicant, they were offering them they're offering the sky. And so now there is the I guess the economy turned around everything. Now people are begging companies to hire them, and what that means is people that are aspiring to be going to IT, they're gonna have to work a lot harder to get into an entry level job, because if you have experienced people willing to take less to come to a company, then the entry people level will have to take even less money to get into a job, and then they may not even get it because the market's tough. And so yeah, ultimately I think there's a couple factors here, but whatever they tell you, I still think that none of this is a factor for a lot of local jobs yet. I think it's becoming that way, but I think if you have a skill that stands out, you still should be good to go. You still should be employable. You still should not have a problem in finding a job. Sometimes you're just gonna have to figure out, what do you really want to do? Do you really think that you can just wait for that six-figure job to come in, or do you think that you want to settle for something to pay your bills? And I think that's the difference. So but ultimately, for what I would tell my students, and this is basically it, is to make sure they understand that they need to learn AI. For one thing, they need to also be positive mindset. Do not be negative. Do not be pessimistic. Be optimistic, because there's a trend. Technology has a trend, and right now we're in the doom and gloom, what it seems like according to every article I'm seeing. But we may not be in this trend forever. We might get out of it. And so I'm telling my students, keep learning, keep studying. Don't give up on your dream of being an IT, because you're still gonna have a need. You still need to know those technical skills, whether you decide to pursue a career or not. So I'm teaching that as like nothing happened, and I'm telling my students to stay motivated. And if you are somebody who may be looking for a job, who may be thinking everything's lost, I just want to tell you that, have faith, be optimistic. Don't let the news sell you out, and make you everything's depressing, because you don't need that right now. After we're getting out of COVID-19, we don't need this type of craziness, this other stress in our system. And so again, I hope this video helped you if you are in somebody who's basically in a situation where you feel like everything is down, and hopefully give you this sense of motivation. But I think if companies stop to care less about just feeding their pockets, increasing everything on the food, groceries, or trying to impress investors, the economy will not be so bad. But as long as people have greed, things will always be bad. That's how I want to end it. I hope you like this type of video. If you did, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.